Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the significance of self-defense, and I think it's really important because nobody really wants to discuss it, but at the end of the day, it all results back to why people want to defend themselves. Now, people want to defend themselves in case of all kinds of different situations. I was talking about this the other day, I'm like, in case of a civil war, maybe a zombie invasion, or like an alien apocalypse or whatever, like something like that, right? So you have a situation where you have all hell break loose, literally. What are you gonna do? You never know what can happen in life. And obviously, I'm not saying that I believe in those other things, but really, like, I'm just saying that because you don't know what can replace the other, what can be so, what can happen. But did you know that the idea of defending yourself can be restricted by certain laws? It can be restricted by your age, your area, and where you're at, maybe even on your own property. With self defense, I've noticed that there's a lot of things that they try to take away from you. So, if you start with self defense, how are you going to defend yourself? You have your fists, and then you also have weapons. So, to be real, once they start making a lot of restrictions on weapons, it gets very hard to defend yourself properly. You could do it with your hands, you could do it with basic fighting, you could do it with all kinds of different techniques of tasers and mace. But at the end of the day, I think people need access to guns once they start having restrictions to that. That's when everything starts falling apart. Now, they're starting to make all these kind of weird restrictions of gun reform. They're trying to make it the legal age to have really any gun would be 21 years old. A lot of the Democrats, they want to make it 21 years old so that they can make it harder for people to get guns for no reason. We have a constitution, we have a Second Amendment for a reason, so that we can have guns to defend ourselves for the government, for all kinds of different reasons, invasions. I've seen a lot of people on the left and even conservatives been like, yeah, we should have the age be 21 so they can be properly educated because of all of these shootings that we've had, all the violence that we've seen in our country, and I disagree completely. I think that if you're going to start getting rid of guns from people like that, then they're not able to defend themselves. Some people, when they're 18 years old, they move out. They're in their own home. I mean, not their own home, usually, definitely an apartment when you first start out, but still, they're in their own place and they should be able to defend themselves. That's one situation where you're going to have somebody that's 18 years old and you say that they're not educated. You act like somebody just turns 18 years old on their birthday. Like they just go out and get a gun right when they turn 18 years old. That's not reality. That's not what happens. Usually, the people that are 18 years old that are actually buying guns, it's like 6 months into when they're 18 years old or at the end of when they're 18 years old. Another thing is that everyone that believes that the gun age should be up to 21 years old, you should have everyone owning a gun at 21. It should be boosted up from 18 to 21 years old. No, that's not how it's going to work because if you think about our military, if you think about how people are drafted, automatically they're going to have to deal with weapons. It's not like every single person is going to be a nurse. I don't buy into that. I don't believe that. I don't think that's serious. And I think that if you're talking about military, if you're talking about people that are working and doing that, how is that any different than someone owning a gun? You can't just say that soldiers are the only ones that are going to own guns, and police are the only ones that are going to own guns. Once we start restrictions, once we start age restrictions that have no logical meaning to it whatsoever behind it, that's when we're living literally in a clown world. I strongly believe that if you give up gun rights in America, if you start slowly giving them away, you're like, whatever, this will make our whole entire world a better place, which it won't. Because if you, like, okay, let's say even if America was disarmed, even if you have UK disarmed in Australia, you still need to defend yourself in case of an invasion from another country. Unfortunately, countries, they're not so eco-friendly, they're not so friendly with guns, and they're more violent than us. We always have to be able to defend ourselves. I don't think you think about that at the end of the day. A lot of these liberals don't. And I'm speaking of liberal, that's what I'm saying right now, is that you really have to think of things. And I know it's dramatic having to defend yourself, oh my gosh, in a violent way. Yeah, that's a life though. Not everything is going to be super happy. Not everything is going to be, crazy awesome and exciting every single second. No, sometimes you have to defend yourself from evil. When you're properly able to defend yourself, you gain life from that. You're able to obtain your life. That's the most important thing that's offered to you. The most important gift. And a lot of people, they take that for granted. They don't realize that. Is that the life that you're living right now, you should look around. You should really realize and how granted you are to be living the life that you are. Especially if you're from America, especially if you're from, the UK or other states too. I know UK has a lot of twisted laws right now, but still at the same time, I feel like a lot of these countries, you're better off than other countries, and you should still be very appreciative also to the point where you're able to defend yourself in America, like you're able to do that. In the UK, you're not really able to do that anymore, unfortunately. They got rid of their guns. Unfortunately, the people in their nation, they got rid of their guns. They decided to do that voluntarily. You ever get rid of your guns, that's so stupid. That is one of the dumbest things that you could ever do, ever. Literally, getting rid of your guns is like getting rid of every single thing that has any value in your house or your apartment and just throwing it out the window. Why would you ever do that? Why would you get rid of stuff that's going to help you later on? So that would be money worth, that would be material wise. But also with a weapon, how is that not going to help you? I'm not saying it's going to, push doors, you're going to be like forcing your way in. That's ridiculous. But I'm saying you need to be able to protect yourself. If somebody comes in right now, immediately, a lot of the police response times, if you go to LA, what is the police response time? What is it, 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on where you live? But usually the average is pretty long. In Chicago, it's pretty long. You have a lot of areas in the world where the police response time is really, really long. And if you're able to protect yourself, then hey, it's not a problem. One of the things I want to talk about owning a gun, I think, is more obvious, and that has to do with Civil War. And it's not anytime soon. I don't know, anytime that anything could break out, people have to be prepared. So what I wanted to say is that if we did ever experience Civil War, I think it would be very good to be educated in guns, to know how to work a gun, know how to clean a gun, know how to operate one. It's just general. Like, okay, if you have to protect yourself, what are you going to do if you don't know how to use a knife, if you don't know how to use a gun, if you don't know how to use actual weapons? You are going to be screwed completely. There are people that know how to use these weapons in life. There are people that are hunters. They will completely destroy you in the real world if things go down. You need to be able to protect yourself. You need to be able to do these simple things so that you can eat, you can have water, food, all these stuff while you're on your journey to survive. A lot of this basic information may sound like an insult to you if you're new to this, but no, I'm just trying to protect you. You'll realize it in the end. You'll be thanking me. You'll be like, wow, thank you, Michaela. Thank you so much for this information. You'll be writing me a little letter. But the thing is that, yes, you should look further into this. Go into somebody else that makes like videos. Bushcraft is always great. It's always great to look into that. And survival videos too. I know a lot of people, they're like, don't look into prepper stuff, don't look into survival videos, don't do that. It's like, why not? Why aren't you going to have the basic information? When you do that, when you look at a survival handbook too, then you start learning about all kinds of stuff that's going to help you later on. And you can learn how to start a fire, you can learn how to make a shelter. I think that's great. I love that. I follow all kinds of people that are into bushcraft. On that note, I'm going to have another video coming soon, so go check out some other videos. There's a lot going on there, so I'll check you next time.